Юdin, and today I'd like to talk about the dark side of tourism. And at first, I'd like to ask the audience a question. What is the purpose of tourism? Who would like to share their opinion? Okay, you.
Do some sightseeing.
Changing cultures.
Have fun.
An extra way for a country to make some money.
Well, the person who goes on a touring trip usually has one desire: to see something new, to explore something new, and to get good impressions of it. So, I completely understand a person who would choose to go to a beautiful national park, to climb the mountain, to go to a desert. But there is one place which I will never understand a person might want to go to, and that is slums. Do you have any idea what slums are? Well, if you don't completely, well, let me explain. Slums are parts of cities where people are marginalized from the rest of society. They have to live in poverty. They have to survive. And just imagine, these slums can be found all over the world, and people there have absolutely no chance of getting out of such places. Look in the eyes of this child. He will probably grow up to have no family, no money, no job, no education. He will probably die of poverty or disease and never even see something apart from his filthy slum. This is the harsh reality of living in such places. Most families have lots of children because the families share some hope that someone might do something with their lives to get out. But only 1 out of 4 children survives until the age of 18. This is just terrifying. Most of them die, some because of crime and some because of diseases. And the people that survive do not live longer than 30 years. Do you know when people used to live 30 years? Back in the Stone Age, thousands of years ago. And right now, next to the wealthy districts in cities like Bombay or New Delhi, there are people who live just as long as in the Stone Age. Well, why does this happen? Everyone needs money. Money rules the world right now. And can you imagine working for less than 30 cents a day? Well, it's very hard. Sweatshops and factories are the only choices for people living in the slums because most of them don't even have their own identity. Nothing that can help them get out. That's why they have to work in terrible conditions for more than 12 hours a day and expect this amount of money to feed their big families. And the children of slums are constantly affected by crime, drug dealing, murders, and many other different types of crimes, burglaries. I'm scared to say that, but rape, it all happens there. And the police does not even show up. And the reason to that is because the police is scared to go there. This is how much gang control affects slums. The police does not go there. In cities like Rio de Janeiro, for example, or even not in Rio de Janeiro, look at Paris, a very cultural city. But do you know about Saint-Denis? Saint-Denis, a neighborhood of Paris where the police does not go to, simply because of how much it is affected by gang control. Well, you might say, slums are not that widespread. Well, here is a map, and this map shows the complete opposite. They can be found nearly everywhere. Brazil with its favelas, India, which is very famous for its slums, and rather surprisingly, but China. Well, right now, the slums are constantly growing, and by the year 2030, there will be 40% more slums. As an expert from this Discovery Channel said, slums can be described in 3 words. It is disease, destitution, and death. So, just answer this question. Would you visit a slaughterhouse voluntarily to see animals get killed for fun? But I think generally the audience would say no. So, if the people do not want to see animals suffer, why would you want to go and see people suffer? There are people who, out of all places to visit, choose slums and ghettos. They go there, take the photographs, then post it to Instagram and move on with their lives. Look in the eyes of hungry children and then drop by the first burger shop out of the ghetto. They see someone getting killed, someone being hungry, and after they get out and go on with their normal lives. Isn't it disrespect? The people who live in the slums are humans, just like you. They just have no ability to live the life with the conveniences you have. Imagine living such a short life without having electricity, normal food, normal water, and all of this in the 21st century, when people have already been to the moon, when people are already living in the space and thinking of fighting cancer. I really think tourism is something that should be bright, that should actually bring good emotions. So why would you do this? This is just inhumane. I don't think that a person who goes there actually understands how hard it is to live there. There have been studies. Not all types of slum tourism are as bad. For example, in 2013, the National Geographic magazine had a study done on the people living in Beverly Hills, which is an extremely wealthy area of Los Angeles. They were asked to stay 3 days in Compton, which is one of the most dangerous ghettos in the United States of America. And the results were shocking. People who managed to go through these 3 days in the ghetto came back and completely changed their lives. Some of them donated to the charities. Some of them actually started some community work to help people get out of such life positions. But it's just such a small number of people who visit these places and change something about their lives. Most of the people just see these poor children living a way worse life than we do and move on. You know, something that is quite scary is that it's not talked about all that much. The fact that such things are considered absolutely normal, and the fact that there are sightseeings to such places, and people are trying to capitalize on other people's suffering, is just terrific. And I really think, on one hand, it's normal to visit such places, but only if you have a clear reason why. For example, you might work for the Red Cross organization. You might work for the United Nations. Then it's completely explanatory why you would go to such a place. But to take a picture, to post it on social media, to get likes, to get comments, no way and never will I and many other people support this type of tourism. That's all that I wanted to share, and I'm open to questions.
Do you think there would be a situation where, for example, in Rio, where they have a lot of favela tours,
Yes.
that economic benefits to people visiting those places could outweigh, the negatives that you're describing?
Well, you know about Rio. If you talk about Rio, the main thing about the favelas in that city are the fact that they are uncontrolled. For example, there is the movie, which I would recommend most of you see, that is called The City of God, or Ciudad de Oros. It's about the favelas of Rio de Janeiro and the struggles that a person has to face to get out of them. So, if you look at the things happening in that movie, you will clearly understand. The government tries to do something with the slums. The slum tourists, they sometimes have that reasoning behind them to raise money to help the slums. It just doesn't happen. Because these areas are not under state control. They are under gang control. And the gangs have something, they have the reason to hold these territories that they call turfs. This is the place where they can deal drugs, where they can sell drugs and not get caught. So why would they let somebody else change this little ecosystem within the city where their own business is in bloom, in blossom? So this is the reason why, even if there is some charity work done, it's very hard to reach to the slums, especially in Rio de Janeiro. which is famous for it. Yeah, so,
Can I ask one more question?
okay.
So, for your presentation, so if you had chosen another topic, any of the other topics, would you have been like this passionate or this determined about it?
Oh, well, I think I would. But this topic is personal for me, because I've seen people go there. And that's why maybe there's more passion.
Where was that?
Well, this was a friend who, maybe a former friend.
Yeah.
He went to such a slum in the city of Bombay, Mumbai. Everyone knows this city for its slums. And he took a picture right next to an elderly lady sitting and begging for money. And the caption was, "I'm richer than you are." Isn't it just terrific? I think it is. That's all.